Welcome back. Former President Trump's New York trial heads into the final stretch as Trump's defense team rests without calling Trump to testify. The former president says his defense team, quote, won the case and is calling on Judge Merchan to dismiss the charges. Court resumes next week after the Memorial Day holiday, where the jury will hear closing arguments then. Here's the former president yesterday.
I love New York. This is where I grew up. I was born here. I grew up here. And I see what's happening with this judicial system, and it's just, they call it all kangaroos, and we just can't have it. And I think the appellate courts can take care of a lot of things, but this one shouldn't even get to an appellate court. This should be an easy ruling, and it should really be, and I think it would be great for Judge Merchan to rule from the bench and to terminate this witch hunt.
Joining me now is New York Congresswoman Nicole Malliotakis, a member of the House Ways and Means Committee and the Republican Conference Assistant Whip. Congresswoman, good to see you. Your reaction to this trial and the closing arguments to begin next week.
Well, look, I've said all along that I believe that this is a sham prosecution, that President Trump is being targeted because he is the political opponent to Joe Biden. And even being in the courthouse last Monday, hearing the star witness, Michael Cohen, who's obviously, as we all know, a convicted perjurer, somebody who has lied to Congress, and he's been disbarred as a result and served prison time. That's the star witness, and I didn't hear any shred of evidence connecting President Trump to what they're trying to accuse him of, which, by the way, wouldn't even fall within the district attorney's jurisdiction. And we know that the FEC, Federal Election Commission, declined, said there was no crime. So did the Department of Justice. So I believe, as you just heard from President Trump, that this case should be dismissed. And I do have concern with the jury simply because this is Manhattan, where 85% rejected President Trump. These are people that did not like President Trump. So I question whether he can have a fair trial simply because of the makeup of Manhattan. But anybody listening to what I heard in court that day or what I've been following in the media should know that there's no evidence that indicates there was a crime that took place here.
Yeah, I mean, we've been speaking with people every day who were in the courtroom the day before. Yesterday I spoke with Alan Dershowitz, who had a front row seat when Michael Cohen admitted that he stole $60,000 from Trump. Here's what Dershowitz told me yesterday. Watch.
I've rarely seen so many lies. He swears under oath that he would not have accepted a pardon. He wouldn't have accepted a pardon. He had already told Costello he would do anything to avoid going to prison. Lie, cheat, steal, do anything, but he wouldn't have accepted a pardon from Donald Trump. That was such a clear lie. And then the judge refuses to grant the motion, saying, well, you know, if Cohen lied, you got 12 New Yorkers here. 12 New Yorkers will see through the lies. Not if the 12 New Yorkers desperately want to make sure that Trump doesn't run for president, doesn't become president. So the judge is abdicating his responsibility. He should grant an acquittal. This case should never go to the jury. There's nothing to the case. It's the weakest case I've seen in 60 years of teaching, practicing, and writing about criminal law.
And Congresswoman, I'm here this morning with Jonathan Fahey, former federal prosecutor. Jonathan, weigh in here. Do you think you heard Nicole Malliotakis' concerns about the jury? Will Trump be able to get a fair jury?
That's my concern. I want to have faith in the jury system because, you know, I've been a trial lawyer for over 20 years, and you want to think they will take their oath seriously. But there's so much pressure on them politically that I don't really know. But I think one thing that's clear, and I agree with Alan Dershowitz, this is the weakest case that I've ever even heard of. It's so much worse than we could have even imagined. And everyone knows it's nakedly political. And this is just so shameful. But this judge, again, we talked about earlier, he has an opportunity to correct a wrong here and dismiss this case because it should never go to a jury. The only one that hasn't been proven guilty of a crime during this trial is President Trump. I mean, Michael Cohen, every time he takes a stand, it's more and more crimes coming out. But yeah, this is just an embarrassment to the judicial system. But this judge has an opportunity to make this right before it goes to the jury.
Congresswoman, what about that? You're a New Yorker. Is there anything you can do about it to ensure this is a fair process?
I went to court. I support. Well, look, obviously it's a separate branch of government, but we've gone to the courthouse, we've shown our support, we've been out there speaking about what a sham this is. And, you know, this is the type of stuff we saw in my mother's homeland of Cuba. That's where they actually go out and jail political opposition to silence them. And I'll tell you one more thing, Maria. Speaking to immigrants in my community, whether they're from China, from Egypt, from Albania, and I spoke with all of those individuals, and they're telling me that this is only making them support President Trump this cycle because they fled this. This is what they don't want to see happening in this country, is a weaponization of the judicial system.
Meanwhile, it's politics all the time on the other side. President Trump brought up Biden's decision to release 1 million barrels of oil from the Northeast Oil Reserve. He's trying to get gasoline prices lower going into the election. Jennifer Granholm claims this is going to be important because New York could be paying more than $10 a gallon, and she wants to get prices down for the summer, she claims. Trump is holding a campaign event in the South Bronx tomorrow evening. You're right near your neck of the woods, Congresswoman. Both supporters and protesters are preparing to show up. What do you expect from the Bronx? He thinks he can take some of these blue states like New Jersey, New York. What kind of a reception do you think he'll get in the Bronx?
Well, as somebody who campaigned a lot in the Bronx when I ran for mayor in 2017, I will tell you that the people are very warm and receptive. In fact, we were able to double the percentage we received from the previous candidate for mayor just 4 years earlier by showing up and talking to the people. And I think that's exactly what President Trump needs to do. I think he will be welcomed. These are people who share our values. They are conservatives for the most part. And things weren't nearly, when I campaigned out there, weren't nearly as bad as they are right now under Joe Biden and continued Democrat rule in New York State. Remember, we didn't have the bail law there that increased crime, illegal immigration, and the migrant crisis we're seeing, high inflation, as you say, energy costs because of President Biden's anti-energy policies. So I think President Trump has the ability to make a difference here, and I'm looking forward to seeing him.
All right, we'll be watching that. Congresswoman, good to see you. Thank you, Nicole Malliotakis.